Dragon Ball Super has released a total number of 24 manga volumes, and I've arranged them into 3 different categories to figure out which covers are the worst and of course which are the best. But we need one rule to help determine where each volume lands, and we're simply going off of shelf appeal. If someone who has never experienced the world of Dragon Ball was looking to pick up their first manga volume, how likely are they to pick it up based solely off of the cover? And the category we're starting off with is That's Not It. And these are the covers I believe would be put straight back on the shelf, regardless of the amazing story inside. So let's start with Volume 3. Volume 3 feels so in line with Dragon Ball covers, as a trend over the years is vehicles being used. But if someone who isn't familiar with that was to see it and knew nothing of Dragon Ball, I don't think this is a strong enough cover to really get someone to want to take it with them. But I do appreciate the beachfront setting. Volume 10 has a lot going on, with characters such as Moro and Moro being present on the cover. My only issue is that I feel like it lacks action. You can tell they wanted to go with action for this cover, with Moro's pose front and center, but I think this cover is just a bit too hectic. Volume 22 had a lot of potential, with Cell Max being tucked away right in the back. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 also being used on the cover alongside Pan, Gohan and Piccolo. The only reason I think they miss with this cover is that it feels flat, and there's so many emotions being displayed, from joyful to serious to Cell Max going berserk in the background, leading me to think, would someone seeing this cover be purely confused? Volume 17 is my least favourite in this category. I would have had a complete switch around with these characters. Personally, I think the heaters taking up so much space as they do is unnecessary, and Goku, Vegeta and Granolah don't have enough room to breathe. I would have personally switched them around completely. Volume 21 was a tricky one. I love how Goten and Trunks are getting some panels going through school, just as Gohan did back in the day. But if we're going off the cover alone, I just feel this cover is a little flat, and would have loved to see some more action from Trunks and Goten. Volume 8, I just don't get the theme. I get in Dragon Ball a lot of the covers aren't directly linked to the story inside, but for a newcomer not knowing that and judging based solely on the cover alone, I don't get the creative decision behind this one. It's just a bit too random for me. And rounding off the That's Not It category is Volume 4. The only reason I feel they miss with this one is because I think they tried to include too many characters. With 5 being present and very little room on the cover, I think it's just boring. Goku, Trunks and Vegeta are all expressing the same emotion. Goku Black and Zamasu just aren't really adding much with their flat poses. Now we're moving on to the I'm on board category. Starting with Volume 13, I love the action in this one between Goku, Vegeta and Moro. My only issue is all the characters being present in the background. That is it. Switching this out to a landscape background, in my opinion, would have pushed more focus on the 3 main characters for this arc. Volume 16 did an amazing job pulling Vegeta and Goku forward, also giving each character a slightly different emotion, which tie in with one another. My only issue with this is that it is a little bit flat. I would have loved to have seen more from Granolah specifically. Maybe not a full body image, but instead opposite to Goku and Vegeta, pulled closer as though he's responding to them. Volume 12 is one of those covers that's simple yet effective. Something I really like is the top down view of Goku and Vegeta. That different angle just adds so much depth and allows it to not fall flat. But because it's so simple, I feel it doesn't bring enough excitement. Volume 2 did really good bringing focus to characters other than Goku, with Hit being pulled to the front and also his stance not being front facing just shrouds him in mystery. I just wish they didn't put Goku so far back. I think having Goku opposite Universe 6 would have been so much better. Volume 11 is pure chaos, but it's controlled chaos. I really like this cover with its futuristic style, and just how centered around food it is. My only issue that I feel would cause someone to put this down is because it's so random, but it's definitely a strong cover. Volume 7 is one of those covers that is very busy. With all gods of destruction being present, there is a lot to look at. I also like how it seems they're breaking out of a border. Creatively, this is great. But what lets it down in my opinion is how messy it looks. I think a slightly more organised cover with this many characters would have worked so much better. Volume 6 gives us the main cast in Ranger outfits, and we all know how much we all love when Goku has an outfit change. But if someone who knows nothing of the franchise was to pick this up, I feel they wouldn't get a great idea of what the story is that lies inside. And that's the only issue I have with this Dragon Ball cover. Volume 23 has a lot going for it in the sense of colour. It's just so vibrant with Cell Max's reds and greens. But what lets it down is the lack of Beast Gohan. Personally, having Cell Max and Beast Gohan face off would have worked incredibly. Now we're moving into the pure peak category. And some of these covers are so good that nothing needs to change whatsoever. Volume 19 is an incredible cover, with how they use the silhouettes under each of Goku's family for, well, Goku's family. I think creatively was very smart. Volume 9 is jam-packed full of action, with Goku and Jiren showing so much emotion and looking almost on cover as polar opposites. I just think they did fantastic. Volume 15, UI Goku and Moro, front and centered. Not cluttered at all, need I say anymore. This cover is what they mean by saying less is more. Volume 20 giving us a Bardock and Goku tag team looks so good. And I think they did the background paneling so good with Gas, Granolah and Vegeta. If someone was to pick this up, it has so much energy about it. I know it would be an instant buy. Volume 5 is what I wanted Volume 4 to be more in line with. Fuse Zamasu looking so evil, going against the main cast without being too busy. It's just perfectly illustrated and each character has so much room to breathe. Volume 14, like what in the hell am I looking at? This cover just has so much depth to it with the top down view, but also gives us this base jump style cover. It's actually just so well drawn, I think it's incredible. Volume 18 is just so badass and is drawn so well, with Bardock being front and centered with so much shade to him. It just couldn't have been done any better. The level of detail put into this is unrivaled by any other cover in the Dragon Ball Super manga. Volume 1 is just so iconic. It's a perfect representation of Dragon Ball with Goku and Shenron both present in its simple design. It's almost like an updated Volume 1 to the original Dragon Ball manga. I think for someone not knowing Dragon Ball in the slightest picking this up, as being a Volume 1, it has so much shelf appeal. Volume 24 is by far my favourite cover in all of Dragon Ball Super. All characters maxed out, it's just a very powerful cover. I honestly think this is going down as the best cover Dragon Ball will ever make. And if someone was to see this, I think it's just impossible to think anything other than a pickup. I specifically like how it has so many characters, but doesn't feel overcrowded. I have a target of reaching 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026 and I need your help to achieve that. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Also, please do like the video to help this go out to more Dragon Ball fans. And also, comment your favourite cover we've covered in today's video. With that, go watch some of my other videos.